Hello, welcome to Recapping with Delora
and Ashley.
Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Recapping Podcast.
Also, comment, rate, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. We're on all the things.
We would love to hear your ratings of the movies and shows we review.
Email us your audio file to recappingpodcast@gmail.com and we will play it during the show.
Or DM us on Instagram and we will post and read it on air.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.
Ashley.
Delora, how are you today?
Girl, I'm happy to be here. My voice is barely here. Courtesy of preschool, I'm sick. So, you know how that goes.
It's okay. You just got that Alicia Keys, Beyonce voice going on. That's all.
Right. Because my voice is typically way too high that it doesn't even register sometimes. So, how are you doing today, Ashley?
I'm good, girl. You know, I'm excited, not only obviously because we get to do another show together, but also because we're about to have a reunion in person this weekend. So I am very much looking forward to that, guys. I'm heading back to good old Ohio for the holidays. So me and Delora get to have a little girl time. I think we're even scheduled to get our nails did. So
yes,
exciting.
We are super, super excited. Oh my goodness. So Ashley, this week, we got a lot to talk about. So let's go ahead and get into these quick headlines.
All right.
People magazine just announced their sexiest man alive. Before I reveal this year's winner or this year's chosen person, let's take a moment to talk about the greatness that was 2020's Sexiest Man Alive, Michael B. Jordan. How was his reign, Ashley? Was it a good one?
I thought it was immaculate. I mean, not only does he continue to dominate professionally, still keeping that body together, but he's also flourishing in his relationship with Lori Harvey. So I think 2020 was quite a successful year for our sexiest man.
Well said, because his relationship with Lori apparently is not a fling.
No.
They're going strong. Actually, it was about this time last year, they had their first spotting.
That we were talking about. It sure was. But I mean, the glow up even with the skincare, Lori's on this whole skincare routine. So, keeping him together in all ways.
So Ashley, it is none other than Paul Rudd for 2021's People Magazine Sexiest Man Alive. What do you think?
I got a text about this at 8:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
From Johnny.
Love it.
And to say that I was underwhelmed is an understatement. Paul Rudd. Okay, first let me say I love me some Paul Rudd. He's adorable. Yes. He has charm. I've loved him since Clueless.
Ageless.
But Paul, why now? Why now? Taking it back to our last recap. Why now? Because for me, yes, I know he's doing the Marvel Ant-Man situation. I think he's going to be doing a series coming up, but it's, to me, Michael B. Jordan was not only obviously a good choice physically, but also the relevance of him career-wise and what he had going on. So
we can't forget, Ashley, Paul Rudd does have things to promote because that's usually at a great point. There's something usually going on at the same time. He has his Apple Plus show called The Shrink Next Door, and he's bringing back Ghostbusters in the movie coming out this month called Ghostbusters Afterlife,
which I'm not excited about because the all-female Ghostbusters kind of
came and went.
That was very disappointing. But yeah, like I said, I knew he had a couple of things, but it's like if you were going to give it to a funny man this year, give it to Jason Sudeikis. Like I could have seen that.
Yeah.
If you're going to give it to like a funny funny guy.
Because to your point, Ashley, it's not like these projects are highly anticipated or highly talked about or critically acclaimed or any of those things, right? Whereas Ted Lasso riding a very high wave right
This
now.
is his moment. This is Jason's
yeah.
moment. But again, I love, this is not Blake Shelton level of disappointment because that was absurd.
Same. You took the words right out of my mouth, Ashley, because I was like, well, at least it wasn't Blake Shelton.
I'm telling you. Sorry, Gwen. I know that's your boo. But yeah, that was very surprising. But who's the committee of people? Maybe we need to talk about diversifying the committee of people who are selecting.
I think this is their way of diversifying the type of men they've chosen through the years, you know? I mean, Brad Pitt has been it twice.
and that makes
Richard
sense.
Gere, and Richard Gere, mind you.
And that makes sense. Like you're talking about beautiful men.
Get Richard Gere until I saw, I think, Runaway Bride. And I'm like, oh, I get it.
You didn't get it in Pretty Woman?
No, because I didn't watch Pretty Woman growing up.
Okay.
Oh, I saw.
I was about to say, if you never saw him in the film American Gigolo either, I mean, that he was Richard Gere was side out in these streets. Let me just say that.
But Ashley, where's our boo? Chris Evans. He should have been named the sexiest man alive. Chris Hemsworth has been named it. So has Ryan Reynolds. I'm just waiting for Chris to get his moment in the sun.
Ryan Reynolds' response that you posted to our IG stories.
Hilarious.
This is why he was our Mary in our game of Fuck, Marry, Kill of the Ryans.
Period.
Because
exactly.
Perfect quotes as always. But I love Paul. Did you see Paul Rudd's statement though? Like it reminds you of why like he's so adorable, right? Because he's like, oh, I'm gonna work on my brooding and soft light. I like to ponder. This is gonna help me. I'm gonna, hop on some yachts. Like it was just really cute.
Well, his own wife giggled. So, that's funny.
It's so sweet that his wife was like, well, of course. And he's like, what else is she gonna say? Because I mean, your wife's not gonna be like, really? That'd be rude. But good for you, Paul. You're timeless, you ageless. I think you're gonna be in this game for a long time. So good for you.
Long time. Look at us. I like to quote his the hot wings segment. He always says that. It's a meme. Check it out if you don't know what I'm talking about. All right. Now this quick headline had me rolling. This comes from page 6. Bezos tweets DiCaprio Titanic-sized threat after girlfriend Lauren Sanchez swoons over actor. Ashley, have you seen this meme going around these internet streets?
Yes.
If you have not seen this infamous video, it is Leo, Lauren Sanchez, and Jeff Bezos talking at the LACMA Art Film Gala in Los Angeles, where DiCaprio apparently spoke on Saturday. And this was willing to risk it all, Ashley.
Is she really?
It was bad. It was bad the way she was like gazing up at him, and it caused such a buzz on the internet that Bezos apparently saw it, and he tweeted, "Leo, come over here. I want to show you something." And then he leans on a sign that says, "Danger, steep cliff, fatal drop." Ashley, are you here for this, Patty?
No, this is a planted story. I have to be honest. When I was seeing this headline, I was like, this is planted. This is a non-story or headline to me. They are friends. They go on vacation together with Leo's girlfriend. He's the one who supposedly invited them to this gala. He was probably just saying something cute or funny. And it's Leonardo DiCaprio. We know Lauren ain't leaving Jeff billionaire Bezos' ass.
First of all, she doesn't meet the age criteria for Leo.
Leo's still dating early 20s.
Girl, he does not date anyone over the age of 25. Okay, so she is well outside his age limit. Okay, Mind you, they might be the same age now you think about it.
They just might. But come on, like, what are y'all promoting? What is this? Who can, like, why is this a headline? I was confused. I was like, somebody planted this story because it's nonsense. Lauren ain't going nowhere.
Well, the internet loves to obsess over the smallest things, and the video was quite funny, I'm not gonna lie.
But who doesn't look at Leo that way? Jeff probably looks at Leo that way, Leo looking you right in the eyes too. That's
so
intense.
true.
That's intense.
So true. I love it. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our hot topics. All right, unfortunately, we're going to take a somber note and talk about the tragedy of the AstroWorld Festival. So actually last weekend, Travis Scott was performing or headlining at the AstroWorld Festival. They said 50,000 people were in attendance. Unfortunately, the crowd was so rowdy, and there's also allegations of possible drug overdose that 8 young people lost their lives. There's a lot of unknowns. There's currently an investigation going on, but since the tragedy, Travis has since come online to state how he felt about it in a very awkward black and white video. He's agreed to pay for the funerals of the deceased and refund everyone who attended the festival. But Ashley, the families of the deceased are now suing him and Live Nation. What did you think when you first heard about the fatalities of this music concert?
Devastated by the senselessness. I mean, who goes to a concert and expects not to return home? And another thought that I had was, is this a pattern at like Travis Scott shows of like, is some level of unruliness or an issue? Because this isn't the first time I remember hearing about him having crowd control issues at his shows. So, obviously
guilty back in 2017 for inciting what it says in 2019, there were 3 people who were hospitalized from being trampled when the barricades came down and hundreds of fans charged in. So, yeah.
Yes. So obviously it was a preventable situation when you start to hear more about it, and you hear from the Houston police who say that they had a conversation with the production and with the artists and all of that prior. When you hear about the fact that firefighters were not able to communicate as they would have liked to with those who were inside to help, and the fact that there seems like there was a lack of real crowd control and all these things. I mean, it's just senseless. And when I heard about the families filing lawsuits and all these things, I'm thinking this is going to be going on for quite a while, because I'm sure there's merit to this investigation that's going to be going on to justify. And I'm just, prayers up to not only the families of those who lost their lives, but also just everybody who was there and involved and maybe dealing with the complications and issues of having seen this level of a tragedy.
Yeah,
there's still people who are in the hospital in critical condition. So
yeah, I didn't even mention that hundreds of people were injured because of the events that happened on Saturday. To your point, Ashley, no one expects to go to a music concert and not come home. Like, no one expects that. So when I heard this, I was like, what in the world is going on?
Yeah.
And obviously, Travis is being blamed because he's the headliner and things like that. I think there is some validity to that, but I don't think he is the sole one to blame by any means. I think this might have been a perfect storm of, maybe the promoters not being mindful of the crowd size or anticipating you know, the rowdiness of everything that goes on in a Travis Scott's concert. I mean, I saw on the news the other day a young man who's paralyzed from a Travis Scott
Yep, I heard about him
concert.
too. Yeah.
So
There's been so many variations of stories. Some of these things, the same with the Rush shooting, sometimes it's hard to keep up with because you hear about so many different angles and pieces of these sorts of stories.
Yeah. So I wanted to highlight, this is from Vulture, situations in the past where, you know, crowds collapse or stampedes end up costing people their lives, unfortunately. So they said 115 people died in Shallow Baptist Church in Birmingham, Alabama in 1902, when the congregation heard someone say fire, and thousands in attendance rushed out of a single door.
That's why now that's something you can get charged for.
Yep,
inciting panic.
Yeah. 11 died in 1979, Cincinnati Arena. It was a Who concert.
Heard about that.
Yeah. And then in 1989, there was a FA Cup semifinal, killed 100 people. People were packed in too tight. So, you know, it's really important to be mindful of your surroundings when you're in a crowded area, know where all the exits are and know how you can beeline to them, because, you know, it's really real out here. So we sending out positive vibes and prayers to those affected by this tragedy.
Absolutely.
All right, we are apparently still in the Kardashians world, Ashley, because our next hot topic is essentially Kanye and their shenanigans. So I don't know where to begin. Let's start with Kanye.
If we must.
I really don't enjoy talking about him, but he's making his rounds in the news these days, and it's causing up a stir. So he decided to go to Drink Champs, hosted by Nori and DJ EFN. They're on Revolt. He went on their podcast November 4th, and a lot happened. He regrets signing Big Sean, which
disrespectful.
So disrespectful, because Big Sean is super talented, and I'm not even being biased because I'm from the D. Okay,
and it's not even just that Big Sean has never said an unkind word about Kanye ever. Like, just because he just left good music, he said, "I just talked to you after you did this interview, and you didn't say a word to me."
Actually, I'm not gonna lie. When I saw that Kanye was gonna sit down long form and talk to these people, I'm like, are we gonna have another episode? You know what I mean? Because with Kanye, he's so unstable. Like, it's like he would say anything because the cameras are on. You know what I mean? Kind of like slavery is a choice, but I digress. He talks about how he also had a problem with Sean again and John Legend because they didn't blindly support him in his presidential bid.
I heard Common got thrown into that too.
Yep, sure did. Great point, Ashley. And he claimed that Just Blaze copied him, as if Just Blaze doesn't have his own career.
I mean, he gonna get slapped one day. I'm waiting for it.
Two more things.
Not that I condone violence, people. I'm just saying he's reckless.
I mean, Ashley, you and I are right here, though.
He's reckless. He's real reckless. Soldier Boy gonna be the one. Soldier Boy's gonna be the one. They'll see him out in these streets, and we gonna get that bitch slap on camera.
Oh my god. Well, speaking of the proverbial bitch slap, he talks about how Drake is a sneaky bitch. Like, Drake doesn't blatantly come for you, but he says that he goes to war by talking to every girl in your family, moving down the street, down 5 blocks down the street from your house. Like, And then apparently he was like, stop act. He was like, Drake told him that he did not sleep with Kim. And Kanye is like, well, stop acting like you did. And
the
I'm
fact
like,
that you even have to have that conversation with another man versus your wife is wild to me. But to me, he was kind of giving Drake a lot of credit to say something like that. It's like you trying to say you over here playing checkers and Drake's playing chess. You know what I mean? Like it almost, you made him sound like so diabolical.
Well, it also shows that Kanye is very impulsive, right? So he doesn't have the patience, or
he's not strategic.
Yeah, that part. Speaking of people sleeping with Kim,
oh my God, what a segue.
The final part I was gonna say about this interview with the Drink Champs is he said that Kim is still his wife and that his kids want them to be together. Ashley, I was like, that is the most toxic thing that a toxic person can do in a relationship, knowing good and well you finally, quote unquote, move on, and we'll get to that. But now you want to say, you're still my wife. I've never seen any papers. How dare she make that joke on SNL? Ashley, give me all your thoughts on this.
Oh, it's too many. Wasn't Lamar Odom still claiming Chloe was his wife for the better part of the last, 5 years or so after they were divorced?
Until it was final.
Exactly.
Or the biggest mistake he made, divorcing her or something.
I was going to say exactly, but actually it was even after they divorced, he was still calling her his wife and such. So, Kanye may be one of those, but I think what sucks is that Kanye is always given a platform to say whatever it is he feels he needs to say, just because people know it's going to grab headlines. I did not listen to this podcast episode. I just saw the headlines and the highlights and all that. And he's just as problematic as ever, in my opinion. He called Jay-Z selfish. The whole saying
which
that,
is not a stretch though. Let's keep that.
I mean, Dame Dash has said the same thing, all that, but to me, it depends on what your relationship to Jay-Z is and what you're claiming he's selfish with. Like with Damon Dash, there was a business perspective. To me, the Kanye thing is personal, probably, because and if that's the case, I cannot say I'll be putting you over my wife and children either, sir. So there's that. But but no,
Kanye, he's probably still hurt that he didn't come the wedding. That's how long his grudges
go. And Jay-Z said, I'm staying in the house even if it's burning down when me and my wife have beef. So he was going through his own thing. So the lack of empathy is questionable. But in general, Delora, I've said this in every discussion we've had about Kanye, I don't like that dude like that. So I think when it comes to hearing these snippets, when it comes to this interview, I'm just really hoping that at some point he fades away into the night and we stop having these headlines that come out, because it doesn't, to me, do him any good. It doesn't do me any good. And it doesn't do him any favors in terms of his relationships within the industry. Because again, you talk about everybody that you've really ever been close to. And I'm sure people
burn bridges over here.
I'm sure people are more willing to forgive it just because it's Kanye, and people are like, well, I guess that's how he is. But nah, I'm over it. What about you?
Ashley, I actually did download this podcast thinking I was going to have time to listen to it. When I saw it was 2 hours, I was like, I'm not giving Kanye that much time. The last time I gave him that much time was listening to Donda, which could have been so much better, but that's a whole nother conversation. Honestly, when I saw that he was having this interview with that haircut after we've been seeing him walking around in these streets with a white mask, I knew it was going to be unhinged. At some point, you just wonder if he just says things for attention.
Remember, I said that the last time we talked about him. Like, is this real anymore, or is this just a shtick?
Yeah. And then, like, one of our favorite podcasts, High and Learning, they made a valid point. It's like, who is Kanye? Like, are you this pompous billionaire, or are you for the people? I don't know. And to your point, I don't care. I really do be trying not to bring up even the Kardashians and their universe, but they dominate the headlines, Ashley, in some weeks, and this is just one of them. So with that being said, the reason why I brought up Kanye is because I want to talk about this Kim and Pete Davidson situation. Is this real, Ashley?
I hope not. We've talked about this via text, and I've told you my feelings about the consistent allure and pull of Mr. Pete Davidson. Pete needs to, teach a course at this point, because he bats for the stands every time. I mean,
Ashley,
let's go down. Let's go down the Rolodex real quick, shall we? He was engaged to Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
He dated Kate Beckinsale.
A grown woman.
And still fine as hell.
Exactly.
He was just with Daphne freaking Bridgerton.
She utilized her cachet from Bridgerton on Pete
Davidson. Was hot out in the streets.
She could have bagged Chris Evans. That's how hot she was. And she went with Pete.
And now you telling me that and she is at this point the Kim Kardashian, maybe giving that man even an ounce of her love, time, and attention. It's mind-blowing for me.
It's mind-blowing because actually also think about it this way, especially when you're a quote-unquote billionaire, she doesn't have time. She has 4 children, a $1 billion empire. I don't think her empire is as inflated as Kylie was. I will give her that. But with an ex-husband like Kanye, like why is she doing this? Now, some people, this is really shady, and I think it's kind of funny.
I was gonna say, you may say what I was about to say. Let me hear it.
Kim didn't like all the attention her sister was getting with Travis.
Oh, I wasn't gonna say that, but that was, I have seen those memes, which are hilarious.
That cracks me up.
Yeah.
But then to the Kanye point again, too, he's been out with several women, and as soon as Kim gets somebody simple and easy like a Pete Davidson, because I think he's a good time. I think he probably makes her laugh. He's probably great in bed, and she doesn't have to marry
that whole
him.
Great in bed thing. Like I said, she has dated some men that I think probably are very pleasing. So I don't know if that's the allure for Kim. I'll give you maybe the Ariana Grande, who, by her stature may have thought he was slanging out here. Not to be rude, but I'm just saying, I was keeping it all the way real with y'all on this podcast today. Ariana may not have tasted the sampling that Kim has tasted. But to your point, what I was going to say, and I thought you were possibly going to say, is it any validity to the idea that Pete gets broken birds? Pete gets women possibly right after they've gone through some shit. Like Ariana was trying to get over Mac Miller at the time they got together. I mean, is it possible that that's another part of his allure, is that he's getting you when you on that rebound?
He's a broken bird too, though. So I don't know.
But he may just be that little sauce you need right when you're trying to get that bounce back. Because that's a theory I had in my mind.
What's the name of that movie that came out? The Good Luck Chuck or something like that?
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. He was the one everybody dated before they found their husband. In this case, he's the one you date probably after you thought you found your husband.
Except for Daphne Bridgerton, by the way. That's not her name, but
she may have really liked him. And remember, Pete also dated before he started getting to the level of fame he's at now with the higher profile women. He dated my dude, Curb Your Enthusiasm's daughter. He dated
he did for a while.
Yeah, what is her name?
Their breakup was messy because Ariana got him.
Larry David's daughter. Larry David's daughter.
In the middle of some messy relationships. She's a married woman now, but she used to not have clean breaks.
You trying to say she was a Kardashian, a baby Kardashian?
Ooh. Ashley, so let's but yeah, so the Kim and Pete thing is very interesting. I'm sure some of it is to get back at Kanye. I think she likes the attention, and she got his attention because he's now hanging out with a 23-year-old model. So again, she has to be that young, because who would put up with Kanye? Seriously.
Like she said on SNL, it's just personality. And I think we can all agree. So
Yeah.
I just hope it's not real. Don't let that be real. Don't let it be real. Please, Kim. Please.
Are they ever going to get back together, Ashley?
Only Jesus knows. Okay. And I hope for the sake of whatever, and I've said this before, that Kim moves on, because I don't think that situation was
healthy,
was going to work long term. But
no.
God bless her and the children.
On that note, let's get into our Microdose. So actually, we're going to talk about our favorite dances for Dancing with the Stars first, because we are going to microdose Insecure. And that's going to take a little bit more time, but really quick. Favorite dances from Janet Jackson night on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh yeah, baby. First of all, this is my favorite episode of this series ever.
Oh,
and
yes.
But again, remember folks, this is only my second season, so take it for that. But my top highlights were when Melora and Artem did the Paso Doble,
so
I was
good.
out of my seat, baby. And then go ahead.
Their fighting though was intense.
It was. When they had to have the little hug out, I was like, oh, y'all really be getting heated in there. And I love me some Artem. So, Melora, don't play. And then obviously Iman and Daniela for Rhythm Nation was immaculate. I didn't even listen to the judges on that. I don't care what y'all say.
Who cares?
That was amazing.
And Iman you knew he was gonna get it, and he was not gonna make his wife look bad. Like,
when I tell you, my biggest disappointment of the night is that they did not allow Tiana Taylor to come on there and do a special performance. Like when they were saying, oh, we're gonna have a special performance, immediately I was like, oh, Tiana's gonna come on here and do a Janet tribute. That would have been fire, Delora. That would have been fire.
You do know Tiana is not consumed by the grannies that be watching Dancing with the Stars.
I know, but it's for me. It's for me. I wanted it. I needed it.
Yeah. They're trying to get there. I will say I'm really enjoying the format of, artist nights, because that's something they didn't have before. They've done the Disney and they've done the Halloween. That's traditional. But to have like these theme nights like Queen, Britney, Janet, I am loving it. And
even Grease. So Grease was epic to me as well.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I have to say, of course, Iman and Daniela were my favorite. I did enjoy the Passe. I really don't have much else to really say. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Iman did that. What I gonna close with is this. There were two songs I really wanted them to perform, but we're down to the semifinal, so it's not that many people. But All Right With You. I don't know the title of that song, but that's my song. All Right With
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Wish they had that. And then my other favorite Janet song that no one danced to was Doesn't Matter What They Say. Doesn't really matter what they ask.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I think they played all of my absolute favorites. Like first of all, about to get me emotional. Like Again touches me every single time, because I even saw Janet in concert on that tour, and she cried in concert on that song.
Janet live.
Girl, I told you, I have seen all my favorite female artists live. I've seen Beyonce, Janet, Whitney Houston, and Brandy all in concert over the course of my life so far. So girl, it's been amazing to see them live. But they played all my favorites, but to your point, we could have went through Janet's whole catalog and I would have been jamming out, because that is what made the show for me, is that, oh my God. And remember how we said with Britney, some of the renditions sucked? I loved all the renditions.
That is very true, because that took me out of Britney's night because of that. So that's a great point, Ashley. Well, we're at the semifinals. I really don't know who's going to win, because the two people who were kicked off, I did not expect. I really was rooting for Jimmy. I thought he's what the show is all about. Like someone you don't expect to do well, but has done well.
He was so sweet. I just thought he's such a sweet man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think that's another reason why Melora was even in the bottom this week, because Melora has been scoring at the top. So, I mean, the fact that JoJo was in the bottom the week before, I mean,
that's
it's been a wild ride.
And Jade, I just thought y'all really trying it with her father on this episode, trying to make him
And
wholesome.
said he was friends with Janet back in the 90s. Janet, where you at, girl? Dispute this.
I was telling Dave, I'm like, he's a convicted felon. So I don't know.
Dispute this, Janet. Hop back on, because they showed her, she talked to Tyra for at the very beginning. Hop back on and be like, I don't know that man.
Which I absolutely love that we got a chance to see Janet. I love that part. So yay, Janet Knight.
Epic success.
Ashley.
Yeah.
Insecure episode 3.
Here we go.
Lawrence Hive, where are you? Because I'm not a part of it, so I don't know where y'all at. Because this episode was stressful AF.
Oh, it was. It was.
I don't even know where to start, Ashley. Are you Team Lawrence or Team Condolences? What the internet calls her.
Condolences, all sorts of names that woman has.
Condensed milk.
I'm Team Elijah. That was the team that I was on, because I absolutely need y'all to stop physically fighting over this baby. Like every single scene where I thought they was about to start snatching the baby out of each other's arms, my anxiety was on 10.
The fact that he was on a date and got a text that said that his son was coming to the world.
Cringy.
That should have given me all I needed to know about how this episode was going to go down.
Cringy, because we didn't know how their relationship, since he found out that news, had really evolved or changed. So
yeah,
you tell me y'all were pretty much incommunicado throughout your pregnancy,
which is crazy, because I guess I didn't expect that from Lawrence. I really didn't. I thought in my mind he was going to be with Issa, but then he's going to have this child, even though he's not in relationship with this woman or whatever.
Right. Because she's not a stranger. This was not someone you just had a one night stand with. This is someone you were in a relationship with.
I have to say this episode, so my favorite parts about the episode, loving meeting her family, the wonderful Kiki Palmer. And
Kiki.
Sis from Waiting to Exhale.
Leela Rashawn.
Oh, it's so great to see them. But this episode was a difficult one. But the other part that I love, the split screen between his life and her life as a new mom, and how it is just as hard. But he out here living like a single man.
He is a single man. I think that's the dilemma that some viewers, I think, had was, some people were livid that he would be dating and doing all these things when he has a baby on the way. And then at the same time, it's like, but he's a single man. How do you expect for single men to act when they are either expecting a child or have a new child, but they're not with the mother of their child?
I don't even know what would have been the ideal situation. I just know, to his point, when he was having the conversation with his friend, this isn't how I expected my first child to be.
No.
And I'm like, life has a way of doing that, but are you doing everything in your power to make the situation better? And the level of disrespect that he showed her was really rough for me, because I'm not saying that she was an innocent party. I'm not saying that. But you were literally cussing out the mother of your child in front of your child. That's not a good look. And to Tiffany Hudson's point, the baby feels that energy. I do believe in energy and vibes and things like that. You can't be coming around that with a newborn baby. No, thank you.
Well, I think it was also a great point that he made about, you don't want to exacerbate this situation. And even Condola, who I definitely was upset about the whole Condola situation when we ended season 5. I was on the same wave as Kiki, because Kiki Palmer was like, I hated Condola. I think we all hated Condola, not because Condola did anything wrong, but because it was such an interference into the storyline and the Issa and Lawrence relationship. And so I think this episode gave me so much more empathy for Condola, because we really got to peek in so much more to this stage of her life. And then for me, I think I tried to sit back and not really judge either one of them in the episode, because what I was hoping to do was to just get a better understanding of how do two people, because this is real life situations people go through. How do people navigate these waters, and what mistakes do people make along the way? Because to me, I saw two people, even though people criticize Orange, people criticize Condola, I saw two people who I think were doing the best that they could do in that moment. I will say that. That's the truth.
Well said, Ashley. But what I will say is this: Lauren's ancient behavior came out even with the suit and tie. We kind of saw a little bit of it, and I'm being sarcastic, a lot of bit of it in the first couple of seasons, where he was just trying to find his way. So he inconveniently shuts down or doesn't produce or support the women in his life. And I feel like even though he's in a suit and tie now, some of that old ugly behavior started rearing its ugly head. And he finally was with somebody who called him out on it, because Issa just let him go get away with it.
Well, the stakes are higher.
Years and years.
The stakes are higher.
To that point too. Yeah, that's a great point. But when she didn't let that man hold that baby, I'm like, sis, let that man hold that baby.
I mean, that's those moments of like the physical, like, give me my baby. And this, I was like, if y'all please stop, please take a minute, take a beat, step back from the situation. So I guess what I'm happy about is the end resolution, is I feel like them both coming back to the table and realizing this is not working. We need to work together to figure out how to go about this and do what's best. And so to me, that shows such maturity, to your point, as far as even Lawrence's character development, but also just the idea that, again, these stakes, this is not about either one of you individually, because now you have a child.
Yeah. But does it take a near end of life experience to get you to wake the F up?
I mean, it'd be like that sometimes. It'd be like that sometimes. Sometimes you have to go through something, I guess, to really appreciate or change your outlook or mindset. Again, what I appreciate to me is that this is real television. There are people who probably can so strongly relate to this storyline and so strongly relate to seeing this reflected on TV. And then you have the people too who are like, damn, I'm glad this wasn't me.
Girl,
I'm glad that this was not my situation.
When I tell you, when Amara was a baby and David used to come home from work, I'm like, thank you for working, but I need for you to take this baby. I'm going to sit on the bathroom floor with the door closed for the next hour, maybe. I don't think I was ever in there for an hour, but it's like, I need to be by myself. Just
yeah.
But yeah. So, and who knows, she could have been going through postpartum and all that too, in the midst of all that. The level of additional stressors of having that relationship dynamic probably made that situation 10 times worse. But luckily she had a helpful mother and sister. But
yeah, that moment where her sister like took care of the baby for her to go ahead and get her massage, like stuff like that I appreciated in the episode.
Yeah. So what do you think? What are your predictions? Do you think he's going to be moving back?
Yeah, because I feel like we saw in a preview already that he's going to be moving back to LA, which, is for the best, I'm sure, for this co-parenting situation, because to Condola's point, you're trying to be a part-time dad and just hop in and hop out. This is not drive-through parenting. Yeah, it's not drive-through parenting. For the kid especially, like, this is a baby now, but this kid is going to grow up over time, and they're going to realize that you're not putting in that work and effort to be their parent the way that they need you to. So, I think it's probably for the best. Now, am I rooting for a Condola Lawrence, rekindling of a romance? No, I'm not saying all of that. but I do hope that they are able to successfully co-parent and that because he works in technology. I'm sure there's plenty of opportunity in LA
working
for him to be able to do that. So I think it's for the best. What do you think?
So no, I'm not rooting for them in the relationship. I'm also not rooting for Issa and Nathan either, based off of the preview. So that should be interesting.
Issa and Nathan or Issa? Oh, because the next episode is gonna be Yeah.
I think he'll move back. It'll just be interesting how they're going to intertwine him back into the central group, right? Because in this episode, we didn't get any Issa at all.
Were you surprised that Issa and Molly didn't come to the baby's first birthday?
Ooh.
Why weren't they there?
I don't know.
That was Tiffany's child's first birthday.
Yeah, I don't know. I know in real life, they're not really friends with Amanda. So, Amanda, I love her, but her relationships, she be falling out with people.
Yeah, I love Amanda as a fan. I just don't know. I can't speak on friendships and relationships. I think the same, and I think it's something people don't talk about enough. People talk about compatibility in terms of romance, but there's compatibility to friendship as well.
Oh, girl, yes.
You are not compatible with everybody on a friendship level. That's still a relationship that takes work.
That's true. That's so true.
So I'm not mad at the cast and the crew and everybody else. If, once those cameras stop rolling, we ain't cool. We can work together, keep it professional.
So, any final thoughts, Ashley, on Insecure episode 3?
I'm still just sad that we're just dwindling down to the end. I feel like I'm just trying to, soak up these 27-minute episodes and then watching just the sip afterwards. They had Condola on this time. And so they talked about how it paralleled her real life pregnancy and post-pregnancy.
I didn't know she was really pregnant. So when they were showing shots of postpartum, I'm like, she's looking real good. Like, this is a real life. Like,
so I especially noticed the post-baby bump, and I was like, oh, they made that look so realistic.
Yes.
But it was really her post-baby bump. So I think that was awesome that we got to have a sit down with that actress. Because again, I feel like there's been so much hate.
A lot of heat.
There's been so much hate against Condola. And again, I never hated Condola. I just hated the situation that we were put in. So and check that out, guys.
Yeah. And final point. I mean, I almost wonder, like, did she expect him to really want to be with her when she told him you were pregnant? And I was like, well, what were your expectations for him? Because y'all had broken up and he didn't want to have the baby, but you said because of my age and my situation, I want to have this baby. So she was so reassured that she was moving forward with this, that I'm like, why are you surprised of his hands-off approach then? So I don't know.
I'm not even sure if she was surprised though. I think she was more surprised when he was like, hey, I want to start having some say. She like, well, where you been at for these past 9-10 months? I actually thought at first she seemed very like lackadaisical about the whole thing. And then I realized, well, to her point, because remember when it came about the baptism, and she had already made all these plans. She was like, so am I ever going to have a say? She was like, well, bruh, where you been at? Like, you want to have a say now? Where have you been? So I don't think she expected him to be involved. But again, you're right. She made this decision pretty unilaterally at the start of everything. So that's why I'm not hard on either one of them, because I mean, this is real grown up shit. You know what I mean? This is real grown up shit.
At its finest.
Yeah. It's some real grown up shit. So
yeah. All right. Well, we did it, Ashley. I'm so excited for next week's episode. What are we recapping?
Girl, the time has come to recap the much discussed, the much beloved Netflix's biggest ever series, Squid Game.
Yo, we're really doing it, huh?
It's time. The time has come. So y'all, stay tuned for that. If you have not seen Squid Game, you like me before we did this recap, and make sure you catch up on these 9 episodes so we can talk about it. Okay, we got a lot to discuss. Delora, I love you so much.
Love you too, Ashley.
Be blessed, guys. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.